And now, Fox 4's Road to Gold All-Star Special.
The best in baseball, including 3 Kansas City Royals and a number of Royals coaches, are in San Diego tonight for Major League Baseball's 87th All-Star Game. Petco Park's ready to go. We're counting down to first pitch. It's just about an hour away. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our Fox 4 News All-Star pregame special. I'm Phil Witt. We start tonight with Fox 4 Sports Director Al Wallace, live in San Diego to set the stage for us. Al?
Hi, Phil, and again, welcome to sunny Southern California, where we come to you live from the Park at the Park. We are just outside the center field fence here at Petco Park in San Diego, California, where, yes, Fox 4 will televise once again the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Every major professional sports has an All-Star contest. No sport does it like Major League Baseball. First pitch set for shortly after 7:30. Pregame on Fox 4 starts at 6:30. Earlier this afternoon, the American League All-Stars had the field for batting practice first. The National League All-Stars then took the field. Both have vacated the field now. They've both taken team pictures. The American League with more of the offensive firepower, with the likes of Eric Hosmer and Salvador Perez in the starting lineup. For the American League and manager Ned Yost, the game plan is to win. The approach is simple.
Well, I mean, the same way we did last year. We've got a good game plan. We've got our pitching all lined up, and hopefully it works the way that we planned it out. But we've still got, guys to come in and bail guys out. It's going to be a special night. David Ortiz's last All-Star game, so that's going to be cool. But you just go play the game, try to win.
There's been so many festivities and so much stuff going on throughout the city. You can see, all the fans are really excited, and I think all the guys are finally excited to strap it on and do what we all came here to do, play some baseball.
Have you embraced this moment?
Yeah, I've been embracing every single moment. It's just so fun. It's so fun to spend time with these guys, get to know some of these guys around the league, and end up going in the same dugout and competing with them today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Both Ned Yost and Eric Hosmer is talking to Fox 4 during pregame this afternoon. It's going to be a long night here at Petco Park. We'll be back later in this broadcast where we talk baseball, we talk the movies, and with this being Kansas City, we also talk barbecue. For now, Al Wallace, Fox 4 Sports, working for you and reporting live from Petco Park in San Diego.
Al, thank you. See you in a few minutes. Last year's World Series managers Ned Yost and Terry Collins announced the All-Star starting lineups yesterday. The American League starting lineup are the players voted in by the fans. Eric Hosmer is starting at first base and is batting 6th. Salvador Perez will be behind home plate and is batting 8th. And Ned Yost's choice to be the American League starting pitcher is White Sox right-hander Chris Sale.
For me, it was a real easy choice. Chris being in my division, I've had a chance to watch him really develop into a superstar pitcher. I remember the first time I saw him throwing a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and a nasty, nasty slider, and watched him evolve into even a better pitcher now.
To be able to start this game, I know what it means, and I know, how much fun I've had in the past. So, just try to go out there with some energy and, start the game off on the right foot for the guys.
The National League has some faces that are very familiar to Royals fans. Ben Zobrist will be leading off for the National League. Zobrist played the second half of last season with the Royals before signing with the Chicago Cubs in the offseason. Will Myers of the San Diego Padres will be the National League's designated hitter. The Royals prospect was traded to Tampa Bay in 2012 for Wade Davis and James Shields, both pitchers. And the starting pitcher will be Johnny Cueto. Cueto came to the Royals in a July trade last year and signed with the San Francisco Giants over the winter. The Royals have 4 All-Stars, but one of them chose not to go to San Diego. Fox 4's Jason Lamb is here to explain why Wade Davis decided to stay in Kansas City. Jason?
Hey, Phil. Yeah, hello, everybody. A parade of Royals All-Stars, as you know, have been placed on the disabled list here in the last few months, and we're going to get into that a little bit later here in the show. Wade Davis, the latest to go on the DL. He was put on the shelf last Tuesday, the same day he was named an All-Star for the 2nd straight year.
Oh, it's an incredible honor. To be recognized like that is a huge honor, especially 2 years in a row. So it's definitely a special thing.
Wade Davis.
Davis made his All-Star debut last year in Cincinnati, but he decided to skip this trip to San Diego to continue to get treatment for a right forearm strain.
I mean, I guess if I went to the All-Star game, maybe I would miss a couple days back in the second half. So I don't know what's more important, but sure, not very tough to make sure I'm ready for the season.
The good news is it's not a serious injury, and the Royals closer expects to be back in the bullpen this weekend.
Yeah, it's great.
Next week.
Yeah, I feel really good. Yeah, it's really good. We're gonna be back on schedule, hopefully.
Now, if it's not treated early, a forearm strain could turn into something worse, a lot worse, like a torn ligament in the elbow. So it's really an unselfish move by Davis. He told me he's going to throw a bullpen session tomorrow, and by staying in Kansas City and not going to San Diego, he is eligible to come off the DL on Saturday when the Royals are at Detroit, Phil.
Jason, thanks for that. Royals relief pitcher Kelvin Herrera was a manager's pick. This is his second All-Star selection. The 26-year-old has proven to be one of the best relief pitchers in baseball.
We need to try to play well, representing the Kansas City organization and the city, and the Kansas City too, and we will try to play hard.
Herrera has been with the Royals since 2011. Among the quartet of Royals All-Stars this year, Eric Hosmer is making his first trip to the Midsummer Classic. Fox 4's John Holt has more on Hosmer's road to this year's All-Star game.
It's been 5 years since Eric Hosmer made his Royals dosebut.
I didn't say I made it, I said we made it.
With his family in the stands, his first major league at bat, a walk. Hosmer was a fresh face on a young team trying to turn around a franchise used to losing. Fast forward 5 years, the third pick of the 2008 Major League Baseball draft has won 3 Gold Glove awards in a row, is a World Series champion, and now an All-Star.
Something as a player individually we all set out to achieve, and to be recognized not only by your peers throughout the league but the fans all throughout the world is extremely special for me, and it'll be my first one, so I'm really excited to experience all of it.
Royals manager Ned Yost happy to see Hos make the team.
You know, for me going in, they always ask me every year, okay, who's the one guy that you really want to see on your team? And you know, this year for me it was Hos. I mean, no doubt. I mean, I really wanted to see Hos make this team.
The All-Star rookie will have other teammates to share in the experience.
Yeah, I told Sal he's got to show me the ropes. You know, I think this is about 4 or 5 for him, so he's been used to this. So I'll be following his lead, and he'll show me the ropes on how to go about all the All-Star festivities.
But the biggest festivity, the game itself tonight. John Holt, Fox 4 News, working for you.
Along with the Royals players, much of the Royals coaching staff is in San Diego. One perk of making the World Series as a manager, you get to manage next year's All-Star game and bring your coaches with you. And that's something the Royals coaches are proud of.
Oh, it's always a privilege. You know, I mean, the reason why we take an Army is because we won the World Series, or we went to the World Series, one of those kind of deals. And some guys, you know, in the past, I guess if you go there long enough, it's an obligation or something like that. But, you know, I mean, we take it as an honor because that means we accomplished something the prior year. And, yeah, we're all jacked up and looking forward to going.
And just like last fall in the World Series, the Royals coaches will be up against Mets manager Terry Collins and his coaching staff in the All-Star game. Diamond Designers, the Kansas City architects who had a hand in creating the stadium for this year's All-Star game. The injury bug, it hits hard. A look back at the Royals' battle against injuries in the first half of the season. And barbecue on the West Coast, the San Diego restaurant with Kansas City cooking. One of the big storylines this season for the Kansas City Royals has been all the injuries. Fox 4's Jason Lamb is here again now with more on that. Jason?
Yeah, even with all the injuries, the Royals are still a couple games above 500 at 45 and 43 and 7 games out of first place. They have 3 All-Stars in San Diego this year, and 4 more current or former All-Stars have spent time on the disabled list. The injury bug bit the defending world champs very hard in the first half. As the old saying goes, there's no I in team, but there is in injury. And the Royals have had plenty of those. It started in spring training when Jarrod Dyson strained an oblique muscle and missed the first 2 weeks of the season. Mike Moustakas played in only 27 games. He landed on the DL for 15 days with a thumb fracture. Then 2 days after he returned, the Royals lost 2 All-Stars on this one play. Moose was lost for the rest of the season with a torn ACL.
I think I was a little more concerned about Gordo than myself. You know, Gordo hit his head pretty good on that tarp, and you know, I thought I just you know, clicked my knee with his, and just a little bit of a bruise.
Gordon would miss 30 games with a fractured wrist. Salvador Perez missed a week after Cheslor Cuthbert slammed into his leg. A week after Brett Eibner made his big league debut, he crumbled to the turf with a sprained left ankle and missed 14 games.
Grabbing the back of his leg.
Lorenzo Cain was in the running to be an all-star starter until he pulled up lame with a strained hamstring. He's missed a dozen games. Then just a week ago, all-star closer Wade Davis went on the DL. All in all, 10 Royals were on the disabled list in the first half.
We played pretty well, I think, for you know, having injuries up and down the lineup, and you know, just kind of battling through that. So
it was a weird first half. You know, anytime we seemed to get rolling, somebody kind of went down, or anytime we got a guy back healthy from the disabled list, somebody else went down.
We haven't made any advances, you know, in terms of the division, but you know, we haven't buried ourselves either.
In addition to those guys, Chris Medlin's been bothered by a shoulder strain most of the first half. Tim Collins, he was lost in spring training. And Jason Vargas, remember Vargy? He's recovering from Tommy John surgery from last August. The Royals are hoping that he can come back perhaps in September. Again, 10 Royals on the DL already this season. They had a total of 11 on the DL all of 2015. Phil?
Making a splash. The popularity of Salvi extending off the field. Even more than for Royals baseball, Kansas City is known for barbecue. And close to Petco Park in San Diego is a place called Kansas City Barbecue. How about that? Fox 4's Al Wallace is live again with more on that. Al, what'd you find out?
Hi, Phil. 2012, 2015, 2016, 3 of the last 5 Major League Baseball All-Star games have had solid Kansas City connections. And one of the things that makes this showcase for the best summertime pastime are the people connections. Here you go. If you ever making a road trip to San Diego and you want a little bit of home cooking, we found a perfect spot.
People come in here and just say, you know, click your ruby red slippers and you're back in Kansas.
Here is Kansas City Barbecue, right on the edge of downtown San Diego. Martin Blair has owned and run it with wife Cindy for 33 years. Both born and raised in Kansas City, where barbecue is king, just like it is here.
We're not white linen, and we're not, you know, we're just a joint. You know, my wife and I met in a little beer and wine joint like this in Topeka.
Known for its Kansas City cuisine, this joint is also known for being the location for a few iconic scenes in the movie Top Gun. Filmed in part here 31 years ago.
The crew stopped by here, where the location director had a beer and looked around and said, you know, we were supposed to shoot this scene at a bar on the beach, but they wouldn't close down for the day, so would you mind closing down, you know, for a Monday, you know, let us shoot this scene? And, you know, we said, sure.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Think about your love drives a man insane.
When the director saw the piano, they rewrote the whole scene with Goose playing Great Balls of Fire on the piano and stuff like that.
No pretension, no grand marketing plan. This week, it's just a little bit of home for Royals fans at the All-Star Game.
How much longer can you go?
As long as the lease lasts, as long as we're alive, I guess. We're having too much fun to stop.
Martin Blair says some of the stars of that movie make their way to San Diego from time to time. They'll stop by and say hello. 31 years ago, they filmed that movie. It was released in 1986, celebrating its 30-year anniversary this summer. Martin Blair has been serving up barbecue here in Southern California for the last 33 years. In San Diego, Al Wallace, Fox 4 Sports, reporting live and working for you.
Delicious, Al. Thanks. Petco Park is one of many Major League Baseball stadiums designed by Kansas City-based architecture firm Populous. Fox 4's Abby Eden takes a look at what makes this park different.
In the middle of downtown San Diego sits Petco Park. The 40,000-seat stadium opened in 2004. It cost more than $450 million to build. It's the creation of Kansas City-based architects from Populous.
It's really exciting to see the projects I've worked on, you know, kind of in the national spotlight like this.
Brad Albers is one of the project architects with Populous who designed Petco Park.
You know, the most interesting thing about Petco Park was at the time it was designed, it was really a change in direction from kind of the traditional ballparks.
One of the most unique parts of the ballpark is the 100-year-old Western Metal Supply Company warehouse that was preserved and sits in the park. What were once old storage sheds and offices are now suites, a bar, and a Padres team store. The corner of the building is even the left field pole.
San Diego is a completely different environment, and the design there really wanted to reflect San Diego.
Albert says some of the themes in the stadium were the mountains and valleys of the San Diego area. He says they used a lot of natural stones and plants in the park.
Really take the time to just walk around the entire ballpark and see everything that's there. You know, all these newer ballparks that we've been doing, there's a lot of different fan amenity areas, you know, between clubs. Some have like a kids area. You know, just sitting in your seat, you're going to miss out on a lot of the special things that we've put into these projects over the years.
Populous has either designed or renovated 20 current Major League Baseball stadiums. That's something that Albers finds pretty rewarding.
I grew up as a sports fan and, you know, played baseball, but realized pretty early on I was never going to be a professional player. So to see work that I do on a, you know, a nationwide stage for Major League Baseball is really, really cool for me.
Abby Eden, Fox 4 News, working for you.
Next year's All-Star Game will be in Miami at Marlins Park, also designed by Populous. Salvador Perez led all players with the most votes for the All-Star Game this year. With his popularity soaring, The Royals catcher is emerging as a face of the franchise, and the business world is paying attention. Fox 4's Susan Hyland shows us how Salvi is making a splash.
Drill deep into center field, to the wall.
In less than 5 years as a big leaguer, Salvador Perez has wasted no time winning over hearts of baseball fans. Last year's World Series MVP led the way as the top vote getter for this year's All-Star Game with more than 4.9 million votes.
Thank you for the fan, thank you for the support, thank you for all the balls they give it to me, and I feel great, you know, when that made me doing my job good in the field and the outside the field too, and the fan. So that's awesome.
Off the field, Salvi seems to be everywhere. Remember this billboard from earlier this year? It gave fans a chance to take pictures under the famous Salvi splash. Over at Kansas City-based Hallmark Cards, they're showing the love for the hometown team with a Salvador Perez itty bitty.
Super darling plush. It's really, really soft.
And a Salvador Perez Christmas ornament.
He's in an action pose, so this is Salvi throwing someone out at second base in action. And
right after the World Series win last November, Hallmark started working on the Salvi ornament to get it ready for this year's holiday season.
Well, we thought that Salvador Perez truly embodies the spirit of the Royals. You know, he's always the one who is rallying up the crowd when you're sitting there. He gets everyone cheering, and at the end of the game, he always does a Salvi splash. So he truly brings the spirit of the Royals to life.
Perez and his agents worked with Hallmark on the design of both products.
He looked at it and goes, "Wow, it's like a miniature version of me." So he was super excited to see himself in a little small version, and same with the itty bitty. So it was fun to work with him.
Salvador Perez making a splash on the field and off. Susan Hyland, Fox 4 News, working for you.
Everybody's ready for it now. The Salvi itty bitty is on sale now. The Christmas ornament will be available starting October 1st. Making it to the Midsummer Classic, the benefits of being an all-star. One Royals player knows San Diego very well. Pitcher Ian Kennedy played for the Padres before coming to Kansas City this year.
They're the sneaky good baseball fans, because you don't hear about them a whole lot. They really like their Padres, and they like baseball in general. And they're great restaurants right by the stadium. There's plenty. The Gaslamp District is great. You got La Jolla right up the beach there. You know, my favorite spot is always Sushi on the Rock. That was always my place to go, and on Sunday night games, after the day games, and yeah, the fans there are really nice. You know, you just got that. You're gonna find that in the All-Star game.
Kennedy played for San Diego from 2013 to 2015. In the offseason, he signed a 5-year, $70 million contract with the Royals. Earlier this afternoon, the All-Stars paraded through downtown San Diego. The players and their families rode in the backs of pickup trucks, waving to the fans during a red carpet parade. Team mascots, including Slugger, were also there to get people fired up for tonight's game. Of course, the real significance, the main thing on the line during tonight's game will be home field advantage for the World Series, and the Royals know this well. They had the home field advantage in the past 2 World Series because the American League won the All-Star game those years. The last time the National League won the All-Star game was in 2012 when the game was played here in Kansas City. There are a lot of benefits for players who are selected to the All-Star team. Most Royals players get a standard $50,000 bonus for being an All-Star. Wade Davis gets $25,000 because the Royals inherited his contract from Tampa Bay. Regardless of team, each All-Star gets 6 tickets to the game and home run derby, first-class transportation to the game along with hotel, and a $1,000 stipend. They also get other gifts and a ring. You can vote on who will be named most valuable player of the All-Star game, who gets some pretty good swag for being designated that. During the game, go to MLB.com and vote for Ted Williams' Most Valuable Player Award. The winner will be announced after the game.